Hi guys, welcome back to Event Tales with Luwa. My name is Luwa and I am the lead event producer at Events by Luwa. Today we're going to be discussing a very important and interesting topic: when expectation exceeds the invoice. What do you do? Where do you draw the line? What do you say? What do you do? I understand that most professionals must have faced this at least once in their business. How do you go about it? I'm going to be discussing my own experience. I had this client years ago that reached out and she was like, Luwa, I'd like you to come on board for my event and all of that. And so I sent in all the documents, my rate card, everything that is expected, my duty as a planner, my duty as if you're hiring me as a planner, the full package, if you're hiring me as the on the day of event coordinator or on the day coordinator, the package, the duties and the costing and everything that just involved. I sent it to the client. So she reached out and she said, okay, we'll be hiring you as the on the day of event coordinator. On the day of event coordinator, not as the planner. So I said, okay, fine. And so these are the duties of on the day of event coordinator. You are not the planner. The services of a planner you will not be providing. You are there to manage the timeline, ensure that the event runs smoothly, well, according to what was planned. And you are there to manage the vendor that day. You are there to basically you are like the action person that day. You are the point of call that day. So if the bride had planned that I want to walk on water that day, if it was a wedding, your duty was to ensure that she walked on water according to our plan. So that was what I was hired for. I was not hired that, oh, I will be the one to bring the water, or I will bring the one to carry her into the water and all of that, if you understand what I mean. So I reached out to her because I do not like surprise. Bear in mind, she reached out to me like a month before the wedding. And so I reached out back to her when we had already agreed that, okay, you are hiring me as the on the day of event coordinator. So I reached out and I'm like, okay, because I do not like surprises and all of that, I don't want to get there that morning and I'm saying things that I do not understand. So I got the details of all the vendors, whatever arrangements, whatever thing they expect that day. I got the details of the vendors and I followed up with them. I got acquainted with them and all of that. The event they came, we delivered a seamless event as the on the day of event coordinator, not as the planner. Few days after the event, my client reached out and she was like, hi Luwa, thank you so much for your services, this one and that one, but I have some things to say. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm listening. And so she started pointing out to all the vendors that she had things to, say. She just had some complaints about them, and she said a lot of things about those vendors. And I'm like, okay, as much as I empathize with you, I'm so sorry it happened like this. And I really, really apologize. This one and that one. Do you have any complaint about the service I provide, about the duties that you expected me to provide? Do you have any complaint about it? Did anything go wrong that you would like to point my attention to? I would like to know. And she was like, no, she doesn't have anything, this one and that one. But she went back to all those vendors and the things, blah, 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 and all of that. So I told her that as much as I would really love to, do anything concerning what you have explained, my hands are tied. Because it's outside my jurisdiction. I cannot, as a coordinator, go and be complaining about a vendor that another person hired that you had a different agreement with. I wasn't in the know of all of this agreements because I was not the planner, because the duty of a planner is organization of the entire event. They are the ones in charge of the big strategy and everything. I wasn't hired as that. You chose a different package. The package I was hired for is on the day of event coordination. So as much as I am a planner, I wasn't as much as I am a planner, for that job I wasn't hired as a planner. So I cannot act as a planner there. I cannot deliver beyond whatever you have paid for. I cannot deliver beyond the services I was hired for. This brings me to the question, where do you draw the line when clients expect you to provide a service rather that you weren't paid for, a service that is outside your duties, a service that is outside your responsibility? Just like I said earlier, I was hired as an on the day of event coordination. However, because you know that I am a planner, you expect that I deliver the services of a planner, like venue racing, vendor sourcing and all of that. Where do you draw the line? For me, I think one of the strategies that had worked well with me that I've tried to, use over the years is I clearly state it out in my contract. I state it out in my costing, in my duty. I state the duties. I state what you're hiring me for. In fact, it begins to ring a bell. After agreement, after you have agreed to it, I follow it up with a mail to let you know that these are the things that, following our conversation, these are the things that you paid for. These are things I'll be delivering, so that it's a white and black thing. There are no assumptions. They are not expecting me to bring a bowl while I am expecting, or why I think that you expect me to just come and carry the bowl. They are two different things. So I have, over the years, used this method. What are your expectations? Is it within whatever you are expecting? Is it within the services that you are paying for, or you expect me to deliver a different service while you are paying for another service? So I have used this method over time, and I've discovered that it really works. There are no assumptions. There are no confusion. There's no confusion about it, because everything is clearly stated: the costing, the duties, the responsibility, and it has really helped me a lot. So I would really love to hear from you as a client. I would love to hear from you. What are your expectations when you hire people for your event? What do you expect them to deliver, and what are the outcomes? Has it worked well for you? Even as vendors, I'd like to hear, have you had moments like this? Have you had experiences like this? And what are the measures you've been able to put in place to cancel assumption, and to see that everything works out seamlessly and perfect between you and your clients? Please kindly like, share, and repost these videos. I'll be waiting for you in the comment section. Bye.